Between Magic and Dreams. Hidden Chapters. Cromies. Sickness has overtaken a cluster of trees in the grove. They've been abandoned by the squirrels, birds, and insects that once called them their home. The time has come for these trees to return to the earth and become sustenance for those that will replace them. Slowly, the ambient light in the area dims. There's movement beneath the fallen leaves on the chilly forest floor. Small, imp-like creatures begin to seep from the ground like mucus. All goes quiet as the creatures increase in number. They grow from dozens to hundreds within seconds. It's a folly of Cromies, the grim reapers of plant life. In their rags composed of leaf skeletons, they size up their newest job. Having already drained the roots of life and severing its connection to the network, they'll begin processing the trees themselves and feeding of the lingering essence. No one celebrates their arrival, but their work is essential, and new life, a stronger grove, and new homes are possible because of them. They are individuals with a hive mentality. It is that focus that makes them so good at what they do. Well, that and their caustic auras, huge numbers, as well as razor-sharp claws and teeth. Their skin is covered in uneven patches of light and dark gray. Their eyes are black and beady, unless the light catches them just right. Then they reflect like a mirror. Two associates find each other in the crowd as they prepare to get to work.
Quah!
The scrawnier of the two says.
Looks like cut rot is taking on to the younger ones lately, Thatch. These have barely made it out of their childhood years.
The taller of the two is bulkier, but of similar dress and color.
Broken Fleck,
Thatch replies in a deeper voice. He looks from branch to branch for a good place to start.
These trees got bullied, choked for answers. Where do you get these ideas?
He too starts looking from branch to branch, giving his bony behind a scratch as he does.
At least the younger ones bleed easier. Let's go for that one over there.
Fleck points out a low branch on the farthest tree. The others had begun claiming their positions as well, and soon the trees were covered in feeding Cromies. Once they reached the location, they began climbing. Their auras darken the trunk in trailing lines as they make their way up. Many of the group have already begun feeding. Leaves began raining down from the canopy like a confetti at a parade for the dying.
This is always my favorite part with trees,
Fleck says while driving his claws into the bark of the branch.
It's like confirmation that we're doing a good job or something.
Thatch also buries his claws deep within the bark. Sap oozes to the surface and streams into the pores of their skin in the form of smoky ribbons. Their heads roll back on their shoulders as their skin takes on the color and texture of the tree. They feed, and the tree loosens its grip on life. The more overzealous of them leap from branch to branch, drinking heavily of the tree's essence. Fleck withdraws his claws and settles down onto the limb. Thatch's eyes are dark and distant as he continues to feed. There's a strange odor in the air. Fleck taps at Thatch's arm to grab his attention.
You smell that?
He asks, bobbing and shifting his head to see through the constant motion of the other Cromies.
There's a stranger in the grove.
Thatch eases out of his feeding trance and shakes the haze from his head.
Stranger?
He says groggily. Thatch shuts his eyes and inhales deeply through his nose. He catches an unfamiliar scent and rolls his fingers like writhing spider legs.
Yeah, I smell it now. But something else. You feel it?
All at once, the movement of the entire folly ceases.
Something else. Close.
All heads turn in an easterly direction. The skin of the two Cromies return to its normal state. After staring into space for a moment, as though listening to a distant voice, they all spring into action. The sudden commotion jars the now desiccated trees, and the limb that the duo is perched upon breaks free. Unable to leap away in time, they drop to the forest floor and become pinned beneath it. They watch helplessly as the scores of Cromies gather in the clearing. They form a massive ball and take off rolling in a fast and furious frenzy, leaving them behind. They lose themselves in an enraged fit, unable to free themselves, but driven to follow the collective. The stranger peers down at them over the fallen branch and draws his sword.